Intelligence Cycle here, and yeah, I'm gonna do more of these Just My Thoughts cover volume series, like I said in my community post tab. So this time I'm gonna be talking about in particularly volume 11 and 12. We're gonna be doing two artists. So this time we're doing the English British pop singer Charli XCX, who was known as a winningest artist for songs such as Boom Clap and Fancy back in 2014, and of course as well as known as from her hit sensation album from a couple years ago in 2024, and Brat, which pretty much prolonged the Brat movement, the Brat summer for that year. So here I'm just gonna relay you guys and how she got to the particular point in her career where she's relatively known as one of the big time British pop vocalists. So before we get to all of the things and what I thought about her and everything, and to get to what are the thoughts I know about Billie Eilish and how she got to where she's at, I'm just gonna relay you a rundown of their career. So from the beginning to the end, and I'll give you my top favorite songs from them, from both of those girls. So here we go. So the latest. So born in 1992 and present to this day, the British electronic pop singer Charli XCX is a Grammy-winning artist known for songs as Boom Clap and Fancy, as well as the 2020 album Brat, whose real name is Charlotte Emma Atchison. First started her music in MySpace before releasing her first self-funded mixtape at the age of 14. After connecting with music producers in Los Angeles, she dropped out of art school in London to pursue her music career, and she found early access as a songwriter and collaborator on iconic pop's I Love It and Iggy Azalea's Fancy before her first solo hit, Boom Clap, debuted in 2014. Charli XCX's studio record, Brat, resulted in 3 Grammy Awards in 2025. Stage name Charlotte Emma Atchison, she was born in Cambridge, United Kingdom, August the 2nd of 1992, as the only child of John and Shamira Atchison. Charli described her Scottish father as mental and eccentric. The Telegraph, and her Indian mother, a former nurse and flight attendant, was born in Uganda before her family moved to the United Kingdom. I grew up in 2 half lives, I suppose, Charli told Vogue Singapore, explaining her multicultural upbringing. When I go and visit my mom's family, I felt very Indian, noting that her family has always been Bollywood movies and spoke Gujarati. But then I go home as the other world when I largely white, and it was almost like I would experience an Indian part of my identity only on the weekends. I never felt like I fell into the either world, which I think commonly happens with mixed race kids. Charli attended private school at the age of 4 to 18 at Bishop Scotsford College in Hurtsville, about 35 miles from south of Cambridge. And she told the Stanford as a Standard as a kid, it wasn't cool. She wasn't cool. In 1999, I was a little loser nerd kid running around trying to pretend like to be Baby Spice. I was not very cool. I imagine most young girls are now really cool and tough, but I was not. She spent her time during performance and art and making videos with friends. Early music and voice lessons weren't particularly compelling for young Charli. She eventually learned to play guitar and keyboard and began her career on creative music. I didn't follow up grew up in a house where it was full of music or anything. She told the Telegraph, "My parents never played instruments. The only real music of theirs that I heard is when my mom would play 70s soft rockers, The Bread and Monkeys in the car on the way to school. Even so, John and Shamira supported their daughter's music career only on when she was 14. They gave her a loan to make her mixtape 14, and she self-released in 2007. I don't count it as the beginning of my career, but whatever she told the Telegraph, everyone did embarrassing when they were 14. My mistakes was just live online for everyone to hear." When musical influences such as Rhymes, Nicki, and Dado, the Spice Girls, Yuffie, and Britney Spears, Charli XCX began her music on MySpace as a teenager. She instantly found attraction with London's rave scene, and she began playing shows at the age of 16. My first one was the peanut factory. As at the peanut factory in Hackney, she told the Telegraph. My parents drove me there, and they're cool, and my dad was really into it. When we arrived at like 9 p.m., and they were just stood at the back of the sweat box with all of the hipsters. My mom helped someone out of the K-hole, and we didn't leave until 7 a.m. The exposure led to her first record deal with Warner Asylum Records in 2010. She began her music professionally, traveling back and forth to Los Angeles to make connections and write songs. While applying for college, she began attending the Slade School of Fine Art for a fine art degree at 18, but dropped out during her second year. After connecting with music producer Ariel registered in Los Angeles and collaborated on singles such as Stay Away and Nuclear Sessions. Both songs appeared on Charli's first studio album, 2013's True Romance, and I was conscious to try to be cool throughout making it. And it was just a really cool album she shared with the Telegraph. But it's got really cool reviews by really cool people, and I saw I succeeded in my first act, but I didn't feel like it was totally me. I Love It, Fancy, and Boom Clap. One song that didn't make the cut for her debut album was I Love It, which she co-wrote with producer Patrick Berger, and instead the 2012 track was recorded by Swedish duo Icona Pop with Charli as the featured guest. The following year, I Love It became #1 hit in the United Kingdom and peaked at #7 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the States. Charli XCX and Iggy Azalea co-wrote Fancy, which became the #1 song in the United States and earned 2 Grammy nominations. Charli again sang as a guest on Iggy Azalea's Fancy, and the smash hit led to Hot 100 in 7 weeks in the summer, earned them a pair of Grammy nominations for Record of the Year and Best Pop Duo Group Performance. And when I put the song out, I wasn't really aware how big it was, and because I was so in it and I had so much other ish going on around the song, Charli told Billboard in 2018, now when I get to play on this tour for Taylor Swift, I was like, wow, this is such a big deal. Her work as a songwriter also extends to Selena Gomez's Same Old Love in 2015, Madison Beer's Hurts Like Hell in 2018, and Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello's hit Señorita in 2019. Collaborators on their own music include Troye Sivan, Lizzo, Rita Ora, Bebe Rexha, Cardi B, and Billie Eilish. And to date, her most successful single as a solo artist was Boom Clap, released in May of 2014 as a part of the soundtrack for the movie Fault in Our Stars, and it peaked at #8 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was added later to her sophomore album Sucker, which was released in that December. Over the next decade, the singer released 3 more albums, Charli, How I'm Feeling Now, and Crash in 2022, and as well as multiple mixtapes. Crash became the #1 album in the United Kingdom and broke into the top 10 of the Billboard 200, but greater heights were ahead. Get to the album Brat. Charli XCX's most recent album Brat became a cultural phenomenon in the summer of 2024. In early June 2024, Charli released Brat, which rocketed her to mainstream success more than ever before. Her 6th studio album Brat debuted at the #3 stateside in the UK chart. Count Fall spawned a viral TikTok dance to his song Apple. Beyond these standard metrics of success, the record left a major cultural imprint. The album's iconic bright green cover became an empowering Gen Z symbol with anti-establishment undertones. And I wanted to go with the offensive trend, shade of green, to trigger the idea of something being wrong, she told Vogue Singapore. I like for us to question our expectations of pop culture. Why are some things considered good and acceptable and some things deemed bad? I'm interested in the narratives behind what I make, with that, and what I want to provoke people. Fans loved it. The term Brat Summer caught on, and alluding to a brat aesthetic, the singer has acknowledged the word can be interpreted in different ways, referring to luxury, snobbery in some instances. But it also can be so trashy that it could pack a cigs and a big lighter and a strappy wild top with no bra. She shared on the Sidetrack podcast. Charli proceeded to offer up a humorous definition of her opening monologue on Saturday Night Live in November before providing a clearer picture during an interview with Variety. The whole idea of brat is interesting to me because why are people brats? Why are people act out and difficult and misbehave? Charli XCX said. And I think it's because sometimes you're overcompensating for security and feeling uncomfortable. And I think there is two fit together. In October of 2024, she remixed a version of the album titled Brat, and it's completely different, but also still Brat. Features the likes of Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, Laura, Kesha, and more. The new version of Guess featuring Eilish became the hit on both sides of the Atlantic and earned the artist a 2025 Grammy nomination for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. The nod marked the 8th Charli XCX received for Brat and its songs, and is also nominated in the major categories of Album of the Year and Record of the Year for 360. Ultimately, the singer won for Best Dance Electronic Album and Best Dance Pop Recording for Von Dutch, and the Best Recording Package. And her fiance, here goes her fiance, George Daniel. Those of you who didn't know. She was currently engaged to George Daniel. The drummer for the 1975 singer announced their engagement in November of 2023. Daniel sung his fiance's praises during an interview with Variety. Charli's conviction, honesty, and vulnerability and are the most potent things to make her a brilliant artist and a songwriter. He said, "You believe absolutely everything she does." The Boom Clap singer previously dated Welsh director Ryan Andrews, who helped shoot 5 of her music videos. "We were living together and continuously talking about me and my world and my music videos," she told The Telegraph. "It was great for me, but not so great for him. It probably led to our breakup, which we were too consumed by Charli XCX every second of the day." And she later dated a video game producer, Huck Wong, for 7 years before splitting in 2021. Quotes, "I just realized I wanted to be an effing boss. I decided I did not choose to being an artist and being a songwriter and just started to do both. I was always very blunt. I've taken 1 step forward and 2 steps back in terms of being secure in who I am as a person, but I think it's just as a human thing. Music is important, and I need an artist to create the world. A great artist to me is more than just the songs, the entire culture and space. There is no formula to pop music or successful music. It's so about the moment, and a lot of people just don't know what they're doing, and I guess the best people are who are going to be able to tell you whether your songs are good for kids. There are ones that are going to listen to it more." But yes, that's just the brief biopic about her as a career. But yeah, pretty much my thoughts going to the standpoint of Charli XCX. The first album that I really listened to was actually the album Sucker back in 2014. And the songs like Boom Clap, for example, were really good. Then I went back and re-listened to her previous work, which was True Romance, and the song which actually didn't make the cut, but from the iconic pop band I Love It. That was the actual record that really kind of made her blew up and a sensation for me, personally, for my own sake. And I really appreciate what she did because she was very rebellious, very resilient against the norms, but actually for the Gen Z and for the new millennium later on in her career, because she spotted to do different things. She spotted to do different things throughout her career, make different records that, were against the fate of heart and against the average norms. And she continued to flourish and to become who she is, and really to become who she became as a summer blockbuster hit sensational making artist. And then eventually later on in the upcoming of this year, where she did the cover art for the cover songs for the soundtrack for the movie Wuthering Heights, which I didn't get a chance to, I didn't talk about it in this biography, which it didn't say because it's so new and recent. But that's what she propelled for herself in her career, and I really appreciate what she did as far as her earlier records, from her self-titled EP, and then songs such as Room Room, which when I first heard that record, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't like it at first because it was so different from what she did from her earlier career and where she is going with now. And just the production was so electronical. It was just more like EDM dancehall, and I just wasn't really feeling that style because that's not my particular genre that I like. But for what she did with the record, it really changed her her veracity, her angst, and really just changed her momentum of her career, and it really just made her a big sensation to me. And I thought it was very intriguing. Now she has so many influences, like I said, in the EDM electronical space, from people like Nicki and the Dove and Grimes, and also from the pop sensations such as Britney Spears and Yuffie. I thought that was pretty interesting that she realized that those were people that she kind of grew up listening to, and it really made her and it really made her pop. It really made her become a big thing, and I thought that was very intriguing and very interesting. So yeah, the main songs that I really enjoy from her overall, um, was songs such as Room Room, Von Dutch, Guess with Billie Eilish. I really like that record a lot. Boom Clap, and then I would probably would say the last one I would really enjoy was let me see. Yeah, so my favorite songs from Charlie. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked and I'm thinking in my mind about the song. So yeah, so my favorite songs from her actually is Von Dutch, 360, Boom Clap, Apple, Sympathy is a Knife, uh, the actual other dubstep version of Girl So Confusing with Lord. I thought that was really good, and Gone from How I'm Feeling Now. Like that, those records was really good. Now honorable mentions. Oh, and Vroom Vroom was really nice. So yeah, that was off of her self-titled album. I thought that was pretty cool, pretty good. Again, like that was the track that was very experimental, very much unlike what she did in her career. And I think that record really hits home and really hits the sensational mark. And it really does something that I think that nobody else was thinking about when it came. And again, that was the biggest one that I would say is the one that really just took me by surprise because I was not expecting her to go that route in that direction. So yeah, I would say those two. But yeah, Sympathy is a Knife and Gone are probably my top two favorite right there. So, and the reason why I like those two in particular, uh, pretty much he's looking at love and relationships like, as a not in a sense like a play on words like an object, like a knife, and just like a knife in the heart. And then pretty much in Gone, it was just more of a regular like, yo, in these kind of things in relationships, I feel like it's a thing where I don't feel like I'm fully committed to this love. I'm not fully committed to just being in a full blown relationship in a point where I feel like it's a given. I feel like it's just a burden. Now, the ranking of albums that I would say from her is from worst to best. Started off with my least favorite probably is her self-titled. I mean her not self-titled, but probably her first album, which was True Romance, because I feel like that was more the pop style, the more mainstream hyper pop style that I was not really a huge big fan of. Never really came to a point where I would constantly go back to. So I would say that would be my least favorite. And I'm only ranking albums. I'm not ranking like, mixtapes or EPs. So, and even more soundtracks. So that's not gonna count. So like the Wuthering Heights stuff or the Ultra, all that stuff is not gonna count in this. I'm just gonna be ranking just the albums. But yeah, True Romance would be last. Then I would say probably I would say Crash would be next. Then Sucker would be right after that. Pop 2 from 2017. Number One Angel. Um, then Charli would be next from 2019. How I'm Feeling Now, and then number one for me is Brat. That would be my favorite album from hers in her discography. But all right, guys, tell me what you guys think about XCX, which I'm probably pretty much sure if you follow the British singer songwriter and everything, you'll probably know who she is, and you guys probably know about her music. So tell me what your guys' favorite records from her is down in the comment section below, as I'm going to be moving to the next artist in this Just My Thoughts Volume series, and that is Billie Eilish. So yes, I haven't really given my thoughts on this Grammy Award winning singer-songwriter. So here we go. So Billie Eilish, the Grammy-nominated winning pop and alternative singer, is known for songs such as Bad Guy, What Was I Made For, Lunch, and Birds of a Feather. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Eilish was barely a teenager when her song Ocean Eyes became a viral hit. She teamed with her brother Phineas to create her 2017 breakout EP, Don't Smile at Me, and hit her debut album, When We Fall Asleep, Where Did We Go, in 2019, establishing herself as a global sensation before the age of 20. In total, she's released 3 studio albums and has won 9 Grammy Awards and 2 Oscars for her music to date. Her latest work, 2024's Hit Me Hard and Soft, earned her several nominations, over 7 Grammy nominations. So Billie Eilish Pirate Bear O'Connell was born in Los Angeles in December 18, 2001. Her first name in honor of her maternal grandfather William, and the second was inspired by a co-joined twin her parents saw in a documentary. And the third came from instant insistence of her older brother Phineas. Billie's parents, Maggie Baird and Patrick O'Connell, were longtime actors before joining their teenage daughter's professional team. Raised in a 2-bedroom household in Highland Park, where she and her brother were homeschooled, Eilish was encouraged to pursue her interests in dance, gymnastics, horseback riding, and especially music. She started playing ukulele by the age of 6, and her first song she learned to play was I Will by the Beatles. When she was 8 years old, she joined Los Angeles Children's Chorus, and she learned to hone her vocal talent. By the age of 11, she began writing songs in earnest with the help of her mother's songwriting class. Eilish was said that her first real song, Fingers Crossed, was penned around that time that she, after watching an episode of Walking Dead. Despite her musical talent, Eilish initially wanted to be a dancer, but after a growth plate injury in her hip ended her dance ambitions at the age of 13, she decided to fully embrace music. Eilish's singing career took off when she and her brother Phineas uploaded Ocean's Eyes to SoundCloud in November of 2015. Originally written by Phineas for his band, the mournful song sprung to life when infused with 13-year-old Eilish's ethereal vocals. The song became a viral sensation. Following June, she released another SoundCloud offering 6 Feet Under, with her brother also wrote and produced. In August of 2016, Eilish signed with Dark Room and Interscope Records, which re-released both tracks as singles later in the year. Phineas continued to be an indispensable collaborator, working with Eilish on every project. 70 to 80% of the songs were written with sitting next to each other on a piano or with a guitar singing melody together. He told Variety in December of 2019. It's like a relay race when we feel like we're both to kill our portion of it to get it to the finish line. Eilish released her first EP, Don't Smile at Me, in August of 2017. She and her co-brother wrote most of the songs and produced the project in its entirety. Eilish's popularity surged with the unveiling of singles Bellyache, Copycat, My Boy, and I Don't Want to Be You Anymore, showcasing her willingness to explore dark and prickly terrain and midstream of shifting but danceable electronic beats. Don't Smile at Me peaked at an impressive number 14 on the Billboard 200 in January 2019, around the time Billie Eilish became the youngest artist to top 1 billion streams on Spotify. The singer's debut studio album, When We Go All Fall Asleep, Where Did We Go, arrived in March of 2019. This lead single, Bad Guy, became a first mega hit of her career. The chart-topping album retained the early hallmarks of her unique style, from the whispered ruminations of a drug use in anxiety and the jarring imagery of Bury a Friend. Eilish also displayed her theatrical sensibilities in riveting videos for those offering tracks. When the Party's Over shows the artist singing through the black liquid pouring from her eyes, while You Should See Me in the Crown features a spider crawling from her mouth. Later that year, Eilish began her first major accolades, which she claimed at MTV Video Awards, American Music Awards, and was named Billboard's Woman of the Year. But her big moment came at the Grammys in 2020, when she became the first woman and second artist overall to sweep the 4 big categories of Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist, and adding Best Pop Vocal Album for good measure. In February 2020, Eilish, the 18-year-old Eilish, became the youngest artist to wrote and title the track for James Bond movie. The ominous ballad No Time to Die landed of the release on the film of the song's name, which was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and later on won Oscar and a Golden Globe for Best Original Song in 2022. And she also contributed to soundtracks of other projects. She previously recorded tracks Bored and Lovely featuring Khaled for the controversial teen series, Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, and When Was I Older for Alfonso Cuarón's 2018 drama Roma. Eilish released her next studio effort, Happier Than Ever, in July of 2021, another chart topper, down-tempo record for singles Your Power, My Future, Lost Cause, and the title track, and it was later accompanied by a concert film in September titled Happier Than Ever, A Love Letter to Los Angeles. Hit songs. Eilish turned several hits into since she burst into the music scene in 2015 with her debut single Ocean's Eyes. The singer had an impressive 44 songs making it into the Billboard Hot 100, including 7 songs in the top 10. Her first and only number 1 hits is the 2019 single Bad Guy. They delivered 2 of her first Grammy Awards, Grammy winning Everything I Wanted, cracked the Hot 100's top 10 the same year in 2020. Therefore I Am came close to topping the charts, peaking at number 2. And beyond the charts, she won several awards for her music and Grammys, and 2 Oscars and 2 Golden Globes. The 2020 track No Time to Die won the artist her first Academy and Golden Globe Awards, as well as another Grammy. The award trifecta was repeated again following the release of What Was I Made For, which was written for the 2023's Barbie movie. And in 2024, she released the top 10 singles such as Birds of a Feather and Lunch from her album Hit Me Hard and Soft. Some of her hits include Bury Your Friend, My Future, Your Power, Happier Than Ever, Wildflower, and Guest with Charli XCX. She was known for wearing oversized clothing, a style born from discomfort from her body, with her body bolstered, and her appear as the antithesis of the polished pop Scarlet. She met a demand for signature apparel with the early 2018 launch of her online shop, Blowish, and established her own niche in the fashion world by singing with Next Models later that year. And then she expanded her wardrobe to occasionally include more from form-fitting high fashion. Of course, we already know about her first headline tour, "Don't Smile at Me," October 2017, and "Where's My Mind" One by One tour concluded in March of 2019, and then "We Will Be All Asleep" tour ran from April to November of 2019, and the show-stopping performances at Coachella and Glastonbury Festival. Then, of course, in 2021, she had the World's a Little Blurry. 2022, from her second studio album, supported for Happier Than Ever World Tour, which ran from February to April of 2022. In 2 years, the singer returned several months with her latest record, "Hit Me Hard and Soft," which had a U.S. leg tour in December of 2024, and will hold concerts across Europe and Australia beginning in February of 2025. Of course, she has social political views that made her transition to a vegan diet in 2014. Outspoken her concern for environment, Eilish joined actor Willie Harrison in 2019 for a video that highlighted the dangers of climate change. She also urged the fan base to become active voters, notably pairing with Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti to an initiative register high school students in 2018. A first-time voter in 2020, Eilish performed at a Democratic National Convention and gave an impassioned speech encouraging people to vote, and we all have to vote, and for our lives and our world depending on it, because they do. She said in November of 2020, Eilish stopped one of her concerts to urge attendees to vote for Kamala Harris in the presidential election. Following President Donald Trump's election within days later, she reacted to the results on stage, saying, "Someone who hates women so deeply is about to become president of the United States of America." Then, of course, her dating life, she was with her ex-friend Jesse Rutherford. Her net worth is worth of $50 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth. And I'll just say one of her quotes is, writing a song is so personal. You have trust in someone and you're working with, otherwise you're not going to come out with something that's really you. I didn't want people to come to my show. I don't want people to come to my shows, come out and say, "I just saw a cool show." I want them to say, "I had a fun show." I wanted it to be a collaborative thing and to be a part of the audience and have them be a part of me. I'll try to interact with everyone there, and I have to be able to be equal to me because they are. All right, guys, I'll be right back. right, guys, I'm back. So yeah, I just wanted to, yeah, come in and say, yeah, I think Billie Eilish has a lot of musical vocal arrangements and talent, you know, from her instrumentation. And one thing I can say that people, just don't really give her as much of the credit, because they just look at her just her vocal range and vocal talent, but she can really play the instruments well. Her and her brother, and I think the thing is that really puts her in such a high regards, a highlight, is because of just the image to come up, and pretty much they're looking at, for like the Gen Z, the next generation, they look at her as, deemed her as, different levels and heights. And yeah, vocally and definitely the things that she said off, outside of the music is the thing where people kind of like distance themselves from her, not pay attention. But I feel like, to me, once you look past those things and really look at her career, like, she's really, so far, she's really made a really good impact. Now, my favorite songs from her, in my opinion, these are my 10 favorite songs from her, and these are really in no particular order. From like, from my least favorite, my favorite, anything. These are just the ones I really enjoy. But songs such as what really got me started from her was these two records here. It's Bellyache, Ocean's Eyes, Therefore I Am, which did not really make any album. But I just really liked the beat. I really liked the production, and I really liked the music video, which I thought was really cool. But Therefore I Am, Bury a Friend, Wildflower, Birds of a Feather. This is the song that actually was in the soundtrack called Roma, called When I Was Older. I thought that was really cool. When the Party's Over, Lost Cause, and my favorite song from her is Zanny. That is my favorite song from her. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Billie Eilish, and my thoughts on Charli XCX, and my series called Just Thoughts, my own perspective. Tell me what you guys think about these artists down in the comments. Have you heard of these artists, and have you not? Let me know down below. I'm gonna get it on out of here. I've been on here just as long enough for you guys, giving you guys content. I want to thank y'all for watching and tuning in. If you are watching, probably not, but anyways, probably not. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in and liking, sharing, most of all subscribing. I'm out. Peace.